Welcome to the Navigating My Crazy podcast. I'm Shayla. Navigating My Crazy is a weekly podcast created for moms trying to balance life, family, purpose, and wanting to improve their mental wellness. Our goal is to inspire conversations necessary to end the stigma associated with mental health and the unrealistic societal expectations related to being a mom. But most importantly, to create a community so that no mom ever feels alone as we all navigate this crazy thing called life together. Let's start this show. All right, so on this episode of the Navigating My Crazy podcast, we are going to talk about millennials and marriage. Today, helping me with this conversation, I have Altovia McNeal. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
So Altovia is a wife, she's a mom, and an entrepreneur. She's the mother of a 2-year-old son, Champion, and she has a fur baby, Sasha Fierce. She is personally involved in several businesses. One is Made It, a nonprofit organization for domestic violence victims. It Works, network marketing, and a small African-American women investors group that's coming late this fall. Happily married for 5 years to Rico, and together they founded a couple support group called Love Our Love LLC. The goal of Love Our Love is to inspire marriage and encourage couples to date after the wedding. What they do is create monthly date night events. Then in 2018, they extended this service to start assisting couples with their intimate travel needs. So vacations, honeymoon, anniversary trips, they do it all. And so it was just inspiring and encouraging to see a young couple out and open about marriage and encouraging marriage, like truly inspired to see that the face behind the group were these young people that really dote upon each other. So I just had to have you and just wanted to get to know you better. So Love Our Love, how did this come about?
So, you know what? It was something that started, we had a huge wedding and a huge wedding party. And I thought it would be awesome if we started something annually where we can connect with this same group of people every year. So it started with us inviting the couples on a vacation with us. From that vacation, I thought, well, let me do local date night events. And it just kind of blossomed from there. It'll be 1 or 2 couples that'll join us to 10 couples. And so I thought about, okay, let's just make a business out of it and invite strangers basically on our date night and on our vacations. Let's rep marriage and love. Like, you know, people go out all the time and it's just like, I'm single and my single friends, but married people go out and enjoy each other and go on dates and go to the club together too. So I just wanted to highlight that. I wanted to show people you could go and have fun in the club and go on trips with your significant other.
And have fun.
And have fun. Have real life fun.
So is your husband as outgoing as far as personality styles? He is outgoing as you are?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, I always hear people say opposites attract. I don't necessarily agree with it. I don't. I feel you need somebody that's like you. I couldn't imagine being in a relationship with someone who was antisocial, who didn't like to enjoy a glass of wine or take a shot with me or just whatever it may be, or go dancing with me. Like, I couldn't imagine that. We are so similar in personality.
That's an awesome thing. My husband and I are the opposite. And that is actually one of the things that drew me to him, because I am more of an introvert and I'm quiet. I like to have fun, but I have to be comfortable in the environment first. And he never meets a stranger. He's the person that drives down the street and waves at everybody.
Oh,
I enjoy that person because it's like he brings me out. I probably wouldn't leave my house if it weren't for him most days. So you guys started it and you decided to turn it into a business. As far as making the arrangements for the dates, how were you getting the word out for it?
I started a grouper. I thought about, okay, let's just kind of make a grouper where I can make sure, I don't know if people know about Facebook and algorithms and all this stuff where only a percentage of people, see your posts. So I thought of a way to kind of make sure I could connect with everybody and personalize it. So we started a grouper. Shout out to Love Our Love Couples crew. In the grouper, I would create an event. At one point, we were going live talking about the events. And it was just a way to connect and put faces to people and follow them on social media and see what they had to say about marriage and love and date night events.
That's cool because you guys have been married for 5 years. And so for the first, because you have a 2-year-old son. So for the first 3 years, it was you guys. As far as, two personalities coming together, two strangers coming from two very different backgrounds, like how were the first years of marriage for you? What were some of the things that you realized that first got married that you weren't expecting?
So I will say this for people who don't know, Rico and I had a very unique love. I used to call him my distance lover. We actually had a distance relationship. So I live in Texas, even though I'm from Louisiana. I went home one weekend, ran into him. We fell in love. And it was just like, okay, this is what it is. We shared distance. We got married and we still shared distance. So we didn't actually get a chance to move in with each other until after the wedding.
Oh, wow.
And so it was an experience. The first year we were just so in love because it was one, and we're still in love, but I say was like we're not anymore. The first year was just an experience. We had never lived together and we were just learning each other. And the first year was just fun. It was full of getting butterflies because he was on his way home and just I don't know how to cook. I don't cook. He's the cook, but just adjusting to living together. So the first year was fun. The year that I feel that was the most challenging year had to be, I would say now, I would say this is the year because now we are coming into a new dimension of our relationship because we're parents. And so he has a way of how, we should discipline champion, and I have a different way. So the first year was glory. It was all roses and it was just the best years of my life. I would say this is the most challenging year of it all.
So what would be some advice you would give to a married couple as far as conversations that you feel that need to be had early on that would help?
Okay, so the number one thing that you guys should talk about is how you communicate when you're mad. Because I came from a past relationship where when we were angry, it was no rules. It's like street fighting. It's no rules. Like, I'm going to say what I want to say. I'm going to call you out your name. I came from something really broken. It was even physical. It was mental abuse. And now that I sit and I think about it from both sides, from me and from him. So it was just horrible. So the number one thing that I would say is knowing how to communicate when you're angry. Talk about that. Talk about how do you react when someone makes you mad? Or what are the things you say? What's that word that you feel like you have to say when you're mad? Or do you need space when you're angry? Do you forgive fast? Those are the conversations that I would highly recommend because we have a rule that even in the midst of our arguments, you only say the things that you mean, period. If you don't mean it, don't say it. And do not curse at me. That's our rule. So, I don't care if we are stumping our feet and clapping our hands. We do not curse at each other when we're arguing. Now, we may say curse words in the midst of our conversation, watching the Saints lose.
Right.
In the midst of having a disagreement, we don't curse, we don't sweep things under the rug, and we never go to sleep angry. Never.
That's really great advice. So, becoming a mom, were you guys planning to have children?
Yes, definitely. That was another conversation. How many kids do you want? I remember at one time I wanted 5, and he was just in an agreement with me. He's 5 years older, so he used to be like, "You say that now," He was kind of going along with it. But we did talk about children and we tried to get pregnant. Becoming a mom, oh my goodness, it has been so life-changing. And our relationship is so different because I'm not the same woman. I'm not. I'm a mother now. It's just a difference. Like there are different things that I do and pay attention to now. I'm sleep deprived, so I may be moody.
Right. Don't wake up all happy and jovial all the time anymore.
I may not want to roll over in the middle of the night because Champion is about to wake up in an hour and I want my sleep. So it's been life changing in a really good way, a really, really good way.
So through the pregnancy, what were some things that you experienced? Because you have a medical background, of course, overall what the pregnancy experience is going to be. But what were some of the things that actually happened that you didn't really expect?
Goodness, pregnancy was hard for me. Everything that you could experience during pregnancy, I had it. Heartburn was horrible, gestational diabetes, hypertension. I mean, I experienced it all. And so having him there and just being understanding and, I had to stick my finger every day of pregnancy. Those were the things that would take you to a whole nother place. Definitely changed my mind about having 5 kids.
I know that's right. You can't do this 4 more times.
It definitely changed my mind about the 5 kids. But I went through so much, even on an emotional level, just my body changing so much. I'm a petite lady, like I'm 5'2". I'm not tall. I'm a dark complexion woman. My skin was even darker than normal. My nose was bigger. I appreciate my lips filling out though, but it was just such a transformation. But one thing I can say about pregnancy, I suffer with anxiety. I do, like on a normal basis. And during pregnancy, I don't know if it's the stem cells, I don't know if the baby hormones, I never had a feeling of anxiety.
That's awesome.
I never had that feeling like during pregnancy. That's something I can appreciate, that and not having a cycle.
Right? Those are 2 bonuses. So after you had the baby and you guys were getting into the routine, because that's a whole different thing. You were in the hospital for those 2 or 3 days and it's not necessarily all on you. And then now you bring this little baby home and it's on the both of you guys to kind of figure it out. I know when I first brought my daughter home, like he would be asleep and she's in there crying and I'm like, oh, really? This is what we do it. And I would have to get up, but I would make sure I would like elbow him every time I got up. So what were some of the experiences that you guys had after bringing home the baby that you might have to talk about?
Yeah, so you know what? I can say this about Rico. Like he is such a hands-on daddy. He's such a hands-on dad. He would be the one to get up more. So to kind of give me a break from it all, just like, Champion would be crying. I remember one night, it was so funny. Champion suffered with acid reflux. And I just remember him kind of like, gagging a little bit from having a bottle. And I just remember Rico like jumping over me and picking the baby up. And then he left. He put the baby back to sleep. When he came back, I'm like, where did you go? He was like, I want to get an energy drink. I'm just going to stay up all night and watch him. Like, I'm not going to sleep tonight. I'm just going to watch him. We had days. We did have days. Because I give myself a day to rest, like, period. Because it's a job. Being a mom, a wife, everything. It's a job. So I disconnect. After pregnancy, I had a day. Sunday was my rest day, my Sabbath day, where I just completely rest. And I was still a mom. I was still a wife, but I didn't have to do all the extra duties. Like he would change all the diapers. He would make all the bottles. And we had our days. So it was like my days were Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. And his days were Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. And that just worked for us. I recommend that too, ladies. Like if you're a new mom, I had to learn how to allow my husband to be a dad and to be a parent to Champion, even though it wasn't the way that I did it. That didn't make it wrong, is the way he did it. And the baby was okay. And I was able to take a break.
Did it take a minute for you to be able to get there? A lot of moms struggle with that. a lot of moms.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think I wanted to go to the nail shop. Like it was just a normal day where I just wanted to go to the nail shop, but I had anxiety leaving out the house. I gave him like a list of things, like make sure you do this and make sure you get the bottle and make sure you do this. And so he looked at me and he was like, I am the daddy. Like I got this. And a lady actually told me this, a lady that I admire. She said, just because he's not feeding him the way you do doesn't make it wrong. He's not going to do anything to harm the baby. Just allow him to parent the way he parents. And that'll give you a break. And that took time. It didn't happen immediately. I just shared this with one of my girlfriends. Let him be daddy. And once you allow him to be daddy, even though it's not the way mama do it, you will be able to take that break that you need. That's my number one advice. Let daddy be daddy.
That's great advice. Wish you would have told me that 22 years ago. That is great advice. I always tell my ex-husband and I, we are friends, but I was telling somebody, I was like, I think we got divorced over like folding towels. Like I just couldn't take another day of the way that he folded towels. It's just because it was like I would take on like, just let me do it, just let me do it, just let me do it. And at that point I had all this responsibility because I wouldn't let him do anything because I felt things had, and that was my anxiety, child. I just felt like things had to be done this certain way. My mama told us we had to tuck the covers and like make the bed a certain way and fold the towels a certain way. But we were young and I was crazy. But that's great advice to like let him parent the way that he parents. And so you talked a little bit about a nonprofit organization, and I talked about it this fall because you guys had a drive. What made you guys decide to do that?
So for one, just personal experience dealing with it. But I was looking for an organization that I could just connect with. So I looked into children, I looked into homeless, I looked into veterans, I looked into everything. And the only thing that just was embedded in my heart was being a voice for those who allowed fear to take them out of situations or allow comfort of, he pays the bill and I drive a nice car, so I have to stay. So I actually reached out to the ladies. I prayed about it. I reached out to them. It's like, hey, y'all, would you like to be a part of this movement with me where we basically provide resources for victims? Let them know that they have resources, because I noticed that a lot of the times why women stay, even me personally, I was in the midst of going to college. And one of the reasons why it was safe to stay was because he paid the bills and it was going to be comfortable. What would I do? How would I finish school? How would I work? It was just all those fears. I felt like I needed to stay. So Made It is like an organization that's going to offer you resources. So, like you don't have to stay. Like we can get you help with finding housing, and we can help you with childcare and a job. And we have someone on our team that does resume building. So she can help you with interview questions and creating a resume. Even if you've never had a job before, like we can still coach you and get you there. So that's kind of how Made It started, just to kind of be an advocate for those who feel hopeless and like they don't have anyone.
That's awesome. And a lot of the resources that you guys post, I've been able to share those with other women. So I know that it's really impactful just from my experience, not personally with domestic violence, but growing up in a household where there was domestic violence. And of course, I did a podcast with my mom, and that was a lot of things that she talked about. It was about resources. She had 3 kids, the fear, of course, but on top of the fear, then you have all of these additional worries to worry about when you leave that situation and how to do it. Just very proud and excited about Made It. And so how long have you guys been doing this?
So it's really new. We started in maybe like in the fall sometime, I think August. I called them in August and I was like, let's launch this in October. Like, let's just do it. Let's just do it. October is Awareness Month. Let's just be loud about it, because not all of the ladies are victims. They're not. We get so caught up in what people will think.
Right.
We get so caught up in, they're going to think that my husband's beating me and all this other stuff. But they were just ready to be loud and serve. So we launched in October, and we started our Survivors Drive, and we've just been providing awareness and providing resources for everybody. So it's been good.
some points it may be overwhelming, but let us know anything that you guys need to help, and I'll be sure to share the word also.
Thank you.
No problem. Back to Love Our Love. So what are the goals that you guys have for this year?
So we're going to be doing annual cruises. I'm so excited. We're taking our second cruise this July. We're going to the Bahamas. I'm just so excited about this. Last year, it was great. This year, we have like 36 cruisers. I'm so excited. And it's not everybody that I know personally. Some of them followed us on Instagram. Some of us saw pictures from last year, be like, oh, I'm not missing, this year. So I'm starting the annual cruise. Bringing it back home. We are both from Monroe, Louisiana, and a lot of our support comes from home. And so I always have couples to say, when are you going to do something here? And so we've been thinking about a way to bring a Love Our Love date night to Monroe, Louisiana. So I'm looking forward to that. And venue space. We've been looking for our love venue, just a place where we can be consistent with date night. Because sometimes it's every other month, maybe because I can't find the perfect venue, or I'm concerned about the budget, because budget is just so important for couples, especially now, just in this now time when everything is so expensive. So I always want to work on them not having to overspend, to go have a date night. So our love venue is coming like really, really soon. Cool. So I'm excited about that.
Cool. So as far as you being able to balance, you do a lot. And then even the planning aspect of all of this, in addition to your life, I know one of the things that you talked about was planning. So was that something that you have always been good at, telling your time where to go?
I like how you say that. Yes. Tell your time where to go.
I love that.
Yes, because at one point I had absolutely no control, like just no direction, no control. And I know, we don't have the ultimate planner for our life exactly. And I always say, appreciate the moments that you're in. However, I do believe in telling those times where to go. So I depend on an hourly planner, and literally from 7 a.m., I think it ends, this one that I have, it ends like at 10 o'clock. And every hour is counted for. This moment that I'm sharing with you is counted for, like every hour is counted for. And I realized when I do that, because a lot of people are entrepreneurs and have side hustles, and a lot of it is we working through our phones, like, just to be honest, like we're on our laptop or we're on our phone. And it was just a way to kind of, set out time to look my husband in his eyes or look my baby in his eyes and just disconnect. I have on my hourly planner, I have family time where my friends and family, like, hey, y'all, I'm disconnecting for the next 2 hours. It's just been so helpful. I have not always been a planner, but a mentor of mine gave me that advice. Start telling your time where to go and start taking some type of control of your day so you can make it productive and you won't feel so all over the place. And I use a pencil. I do, because it's life, Right. And so sometimes if I'm in a moment that I may need a little bit longer in, I stay in that moment. Or maybe it's something that I'm getting overwhelmed with. I create boundaries, like I'm stopping at 3. Regardless if it's finished or not. That's something that has been getting better over time, but I am consistently using my planner.
Planning your time even with your husband, because that's something that I found beneficial. Just understanding each other's love language, and because it's not something that I'm used to and that's not me, like I have a reminder like to text him and tell him I love him, or ask him how his day is, because that's just not my personality. It's like I love you or whatever, but he enjoys that. It makes him feel like he's working 20 or 16 hours that, this lady's actually thinking about me during the day. So I do that. I even schedule time to pray, and it was not something that I've been accustomed to, but I have reminders popping up on my phone, like pray 15 minutes before, get ready to pray. Like those are things, like you said, when things are important, you make time for them. And that was one of the reasons why I even put out the planner, because it literally changed my life, especially with someone with anxiety. And I'm sure you can appreciate this, the feeling of not having control. is where the anxiety comes from, when things are out of your control and you feel like you can't control them and the world is spinning out. And so it really helps to be able to put your hand and put your thumbprint on something that you do have control over. And if it's the feelings of the people in your family, or, you know, like you said, your business, making sure that things are getting taken care of, that helps with anxiety. So anybody that experiences anxiety, that is something that, of course, you know, has benefited the both of us. So let us know if you need help where to start with planning. You know, sometimes you just have to start somewhere. And if it's just one thing that you find important, that you start to schedule. And that's what I did. It was first one thing, and then it was the next. I was like, okay, this works. And then it just started building from there. And it was like, at this point, I had notes everywhere. So it's like, okay, let's compile it. And then I created this planner, and somebody was like, that's cool. Can you make me one? And I was like, okay.
I love it.
Thank you.
I love it.
So there are some other things that you're working on that, if you don't mind sharing. So the network marketing, you do have the personality for network marketing, but what about It Works that made you decide that this one was for you?
So I was really ignorant to network marketing. Like, I didn't know what that was, but I appreciate it now. And I always use that Popeye's chicken sandwich. How everybody was sharing it, and not getting paid for it. And so I feel like what network marketing is sharing stuff, but I get an incentive. But one of the reasons why I got connected with network marketing is because I went through after the baby, I went through a stage where I didn't feel good. Me and my husband, we take so many pictures, and I found myself not wanting to take a picture with him because I was like, I look fat. Like, I already have a round face. I was like, I look really fat on this one. I was like, oh, don't post it. Just forget it. And I'm just like, you know, that was something that he enjoyed doing, like us taking pictures, or he may be recording something on his phone. I'm like, don't get me in it. And I'm like, you know, those are things that we supposed to be able to share later, you know. And I'm like, where was I? Depressed, hiding, because I was thinking I was fat. So I was like, I'm sick of it. I met a lady who introduced me to some products, and they worked. I lost about 20 pounds. I didn't exercise. I, you know, sometimes I ate clean, and I still noticed that I lost weight. And I was losing weight in the places that I felt I needed to lose it in. And so I just decided to, okay, it's working for me. I started telling people, and I started getting her customers. So I was like, okay, that could go into my little vacation fund or whatever, you know, whatever I wanted to do for my family. And so I connected with It Works, and it's a network marketing company that have awesome products. And the keto is so trending right now. All my keto lovers. So I drink keto coffee every morning, every day, faithfully. If people follow me on my Snap, they see me make my keto coffee every single morning. That's just one of the number one things that I do, is just do my keto coffee and just be cautious of what I eat. And it has changed my life. Like, I take more pictures. I scheduled a really nice photo shoot with my husband because I was like, okay, I finally feel good again. And that's important.
It is.
That's important, just feeling sexy and feeling good about yourself. Like, I didn't realize how much I needed to feel like that again. And it has completely just, that was the game changer. Like, self-care. Self-care was the game changer. The moment that I started to focus on my mental health and physical health, I became a better mom, a better wife, a better friend.
Because you were happy with yourself.
Yes.
Sometimes we get into that rut, because I was in there for years. I was like, this is baby weight. This is baby weight. My baby's 9. This is baby weight. And then, like you say, you start like get into the back of pictures. You stop being involved. You stop wanting to go places. And if that's your personality, like, you're taking something away from yourself. You're taking something away from your relationship, you know, and some people are comfortable with that. But if you're not, if you find yourself not comfortable with yourself, by all means, you know, find ways to make those changes.
Yes. Yep.
And so African Americans Women Investors Group, what piqued your interest as far as investing?
Oh my God. So this kind of started off with my sister. I have a sister who is, she just graduated from college and she's a vet tech, but her goal is to be a veterinarian. And how she got through college is doing little side things, making blankets, just doing little side hustles. And so she's really crafty and she's always looking into ways to, better her craft. And so she's been into the whole cups and stuff now, like, customizing cups and mugs. And she was like, oh my God, Altovia, I really want this machine. And, she was like, I could sell to this people, I could sell it to the doctors, what she was doing is already creating what her sales would be, in a business mindset, in an investor's mindset. That's how I'm listening to it, right? And so she was like, I just wish somebody could buy it for me. She was asking me to buy it.
Right.
Really. And I was like, nah. Well, anyway, I had another, in that same exact week, another friend was saying something about they wish they had a sewing machine. And I was like, well, how much is, and how it would benefit their business.
Right.
And how much is a sewing machine? It's like $200. And it wasn't that she didn't have $200. It was just like, she just wasn't in a place to invest it on her business at the time. So I thought, it would be awesome if it was a group of ladies that we can help each other by investing in those small things. It's already in the process. And we're building a portfolio, and I'll be sharing more about the Sisterhood Investment Group in the fall.
Right. Oh, that sounds awesome. I love the entire concept of that. That's yes.
Look, you may need to be a part of it.
Yes. Because when I tell you, ideas are always, because God always like downloads stuff. And I realize that all of the ideas that he downloads are not for me to do, which I was trying to like do everything. I'm like, okay, Lord, what you want? You want me to be a pilot? And then I realized the things that he was downloading wasn't necessarily for me. It may, like you said, be a conversation that I'm having with someone else. And then it's like, oh, that's what you were talking about. So I just need to help this person get connected with a resource. Oh, I'm not supposed to be a pilot. So I realized, kind of the same thing. It's like, piecing together different resources for different people as a way to help others. God don't necessarily mean he want me to do it. It's helping someone else to get it done. So that's an awesome idea. This whole idea of millennial women about being able to shift and change careers and finding passions and doing things. How is she able to do that? Sometimes it's intimidating for other women or moms who just struggle to wake up with the baby every day, or struggle to get dressed or get out of the bed. And so just some of the insight, like you were saying, you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have it all together, but just giving different keys as far as, planning and taking time for yourself and doing things to feel better about yourself were all great pointers to take away as, we move to a new year and saying, okay, well, what do I want to do with myself this year? What's one thing that I can do to improve? I think you gave a lot of great pointers with some last minute advice for a mom who had the baby and struggling to find her identity again. What's a piece of advice that you would give her?
Something that I do that you have to do this, okay? It's like your non-negotiable, okay? This your non-negotiable. Every day you have to set aside time to have spiritual and personal development. Not from your phone, not from your laptop, not from a friend, just you and God. That's it. Just you and God. And it needs to be before everybody wake up, or it could be like me, I like to get my sleep. So mine is normally after husband is gone and after baby's at daycare. And then that's my moment where I connect with myself and I put on my worship music and I get on my knees and I pray. I journal, like I write down things that I may be brainstorming about or I've been having anxiety about, and I have my moment. It's a non-negotiable. Every day you need to have spiritual and some type of personal devotion for yourself. And it could just be 15 minutes. It doesn't have to be long, but take out time for you. That's number one. Number two is have a day to rest. Have a day to disconnect from the world, from chaos, from social media, and just unplug and rest. rest, because in the midst of you resting, you never know what God may put on your heart. And, it's so hard for you to listen most days because you're already so in tune with social media, or your phone, or your job. So having a moment to just take a day to just rest. And just rest. That's it. And it doesn't mean you're not mama, you're not wife, you're not whatever you need to be. You still own those titles. It's just that, you need that day to just kind of rest your brain. I mean, especially women, we overthink everything. We make the house a home. We plan everything. I mean, we do everything. And it's like, when do you actually just sit in silence and just meditate and just do something for you? If you're not doing it, start today. You don't have to be like, I'm starting on Monday. Start tonight. Mm-hmm. Start when the kids go to sleep and you satisfy the hubby or if you're a single mom, once your baby go to sleep, like, have your moment. And it's so refreshing. And it's a way to kind of hit the reset button and be like, oh, okay, I got this still. And I could do this. And another thing that I want to tell women too, there's no expiration, because I would get caught up in, oh my God, like I graduated from college, but I felt like, but a lot of my friends were finishing before me. And I was like, feeling depressed and sad. Appreciate the process and the moment that you're in. There's no expiration date to like you completing, those things that you dreamed about. Mm-hmm. Appreciate where you're at, because it's where you need to be. And then take out time to meditate and, feed your spirit the way you feed your stomach when you're hungry.
Right. Those were perfect. Very good pointers for other moms. And hopefully they can take something from there. Well, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed this so much.
Thank you for listening to the Navigating My Crazy podcast. Don't forget to send all of your questions to questions@navigatingmycrazy.com. Or you can complete the form on our website at navigatingmycrazy.com/contact. Also, join the community and chime in on the conversations by liking and following Navigating My Crazy on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Subscribe and rate us 5 stars on iTunes or your favorite podcasting platform. Moms, have a great week and get ready for our next Talk It Out Tuesday.